This is a good way to start. It's just a random tale. Random ember. Oh, we don't have music going. We are musicless. Oh my god. Emptiness, darkness, despair. More cats. It's everywhere. Everywhere, I say. The silence, the darkness, the catness. Not Everdeen. I forgot to schedule this one. Oh well. It's been quite the day. Hello, hello! How's it going, everybody? All of you fine folks, fine cats and kittens. Speaking of kittens, I've had a cat invasion. Broke the door down. Well, not really. The door just wasn't very secure to begin with. Howdy, Scott. Oh, it's been a long day already. I have not stopped since 9 in the morning, and I'm kind of fortunate to be here. I was running a little bit behind, but funnily enough, even though I was running behind, we were a couple minutes early. My original my original words. I'm gonna play Lightning and Snow today. Yes. Yeah, I didn't play that. I thought that I had played that. Did you have to depart for any reason? Well, if I made that mistake, then yes, we are certainly going to rectify that mistake, and I will extend my largest of apologies to you if I indeed made that oversight, Scott. Yeah, that's absolutely no trouble, no problem whatsoever. Oh, you had to leave early. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, in that case, we will be playing that if you had to leave early. No, it's not 9 in the morning right now, Boogaloo. It is. I've been awake since 9 in the morning. It's not about 3:30 p.m. at the moment. Basically, I've gotten up and I just haven't stopped. I've cut a pair of yards. I've done a number of things, not only around or outside the house, but I've had places that I've needed to go, things that I've needed to do. I'm honestly pretty beat. That's why the stream's going to probably be pretty short. Basically, everything had to be done on a stream day. The yards especially, considering we had a risk of, and we did get some rain yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be potentially a washout, so it's just, maybe it needed to be done. This is one of the only days that we really had, and plus, whenever it came to the second yard, coordinating with those folks was, this was the only day that was going to work. So I knew today was going to be a big day. I knew it was going to be a pretty long one, but I didn't want to change the date of the stream, considering it was the date that I had told all of you on Saturday whenever we departed company. That was back before I knew all this was going to happen. Is S&M 2 better than S&M 1? In all honesty, Doobie, I don't really have an opinion on that, considering they're both live albums. They're both pretty good. The gimmick is the same. The set list is different, obviously, and they included a couple of neat treats on disc 2. If I were to be, quantitative about it, I would say that they did improve a lot on the original concept with S&M 2. Though I will say that I feel that S&M 1 had just a terrific set list that's really, really hard to ignore. For the sake of argument, I'd put them probably on even standard. I would put them on even standard. I just really like the idea. I'm glad that they've done that. Other bands have used orchestra in the near 20 years since the first one happened. It's become a little more commonplace to hear those styles of instruments, and sort of expanded a lot of horizons. That's not the only reason why that happened. that was already taking place in a lot of bands' music beforehand. But whenever you have a band that's the size and scope of Metallica doing something like that, it opens the eyes of a lot of people. And another thing that I think it does that's very positive, and really there's a lot of heavy metal bands that further show this, is that it doesn't matter what your instrument is, it can be applied to any style of music. Do I listen to The Cult? I do. Cult is quite a good band, especially whenever you consider some of their 80s material. Their newer stuff isn't bad either. Right now we are jamming the track Telemark by Isan. This is off of the Telemark EP, which was released earlier this year. There is a second EP by Isan, which will be coming out here in a couple of weeks, and I've just been sort of in the mood. I was in the mood earlier to listen to some Ulcerate. I listened to a ton of My Dying Bride overnight and into this morning whenever I wasn't, doing other things. That's the band that came up in the 1180, and there's quite a number of their albums that is on that list, so ended up on that playlist. So it's about 8 different albums of My Dying Bride that we got through. Hi, Marvush. We are back to streaming, and with viewer Videomania. There is going to be some videos that are going to be coming in the future, though they are all going to be based off of ideas from the crowd, from all folks in chat. Basically the deal is, and Maru actually, who I will bid hello to as well, can tell you that it's $100 basically for a video. if you pay that straight, then whatever idea you want gets done, with some limitations. And then if that's out of the question, which I understand, it's out of the question for so many of us. It's out of the question for me. If I was in this stream, I wouldn't be able to do it myself. So the fact that some of you guys have done that has just been amazing to me, and I'm very, very thankful for that, appreciative. And I hope to reward you with videos of the most and the best energy. Hopefully that'll reinvigorate me, maybe to come back and do a couple of videos on the side here and there after this is complete. I know that we're definitely going to do a top 50 of the year video. That's definitely something that is on the horizon. I can't wait to do that. I thought that whenever I left, that would maybe be the only video I would do. Like, it would be like an annual tradition that we would still do a top 50 video. But now we have some other things that we're going to be doing as well. That's pretty neat. But anyway, if you any donation puts you in the running, you give me an idea, and then chat decides. We set up a poll, and chat will decide which one that they want to see, and that becomes the video that is made. Here's Lightning and Snow by Woods of Ypres. This was originally requested by Scott a few days ago, but he had to depart prior to it being played, and in those situations, if I don't see the person who requested the song in chat, I don't play the song, although in this case I think it was a little bit of neglect on my part as well. So I don't mean to think that I don't mean to say that I'm glad that you left early, Scott, but it's sort of yes, Nikolai, you are 8 minutes into the stream. But you don't want to jinx it, though. Yeah, there's a lot that can happen in life that may change things. I'm taking things one day at a time. That's why I haven't come out with a video officially announcing my comeback or anything like that. That this is truly a return from the retirement, or what I guess would have ended up just being a hiatus. This is more of circumstances beyond all of our control created this. Not only created sort of the need for it, but also created a real sort of desire to do it. And honestly, this should have been the minute that the pandemic turned into a quarantine, this should have been, I should have been doing this. I should have been here with you guys. It was a rough time for all of us. all of us were kind of just unsure what was going to happen next. And so I had, there are many reasons why that didn't happen, but I'm glad to be here right now. That to me is good enough for me. This song is great. The album that's off of is great. It's still, just heartbreaking to know that it's been 8 years since Woods 5, Gray Skies and Electric Light came out. I remember us talking about this album. I remember reviewing this album many, many locations ago. I remember us talking about the sort of eerie way that this album ended whenever it came to, the unfortunate passing of David Gold. But I can't believe it's been 8 years. That to me still doesn't make sense. Principally because I didn't realize this until I did it. Until I did it. But I went through all of the old stuff that I had scrabbled whenever I was in college under a different account, and I added them to my current account. That way everything would be there, for maximum attempted accuracy. And I had been listening to, I listened to some of the earliest Woods recordings back then. And kind of whenever the name re-emerged, whenever I became coverkillernation, I didn't totally recall. I didn't totally remember all of that. I kind of lost sight for him a little bit. Because whenever I first got through with my studies, I kind of immersed myself not only in working. I worked at a couple of different places and got, management positions relatively rapidly. So I had things I needed to do. But then even whenever I was not working or things that happened in that capacity, my focus and everything was just very different. It was in different places, and I was sort of hanging out with different people, and other priorities had sort of taken control. I wasn't seeking at that point, so to me it was, it was still just, I'm a fan of music. I'm not somebody who's reviewing it and actively, keeping track of everything. But that's just how that is. What about the Green Album? It's absolutely terrific. It's wonderful. You can just run down their discography and you're going to find just a ton of just wonderful, wonderful discs. Not to mention great songs. I had a vinyl copy. In fact, I still have a vinyl copy of Pursuit of the Sun and Allure of the Earth. It's hanging around here somewhere among my vinyl. My vinyl, unfortunately, I haven't found a place to represent in the actual room. So currently it's hanging out in my closet. And so I'm looking into some options in order to change that. That way it can get some representation and sort of ease of access, as that to me is pretty important. But yeah, just really going all the way back to 2004, 2005. It's just amazing how far the band had come whenever we talked about Woods 5, and then for all of it just to sort of dissipate and be gone in an instant was heartbreaking, especially when it seemed like so many other artists we've seen before. It was almost like he had a smell in his nose and kind of knew that the end was near. Have you ever had a video removed due to the music you play in the background? Back whenever I was just Cover Killer, because originally this channel was just Cover Killer. The Nation came after I had to make the decision whether or not I wanted to come back after being banned from YouTube in 2010. And the story is quite simple. I had already a couple strikes, so I was probably destined to be banned anyway, because with the Cover Killer channel, I made the mistake of just posting songs, So if an artist had something new come out, just to try to get a little bit of, things stirring, and maybe also in some cases I was given permission to do so, but I had done so with others that I was not. I did some bad things on that channel, regrettable actions. But whenever Dio died, I had Holy Diver playing softly in the background of a tribute video that very, very few of you have ever seen. And in fact, I have not seen since then either, because it has long since disappeared from the CKN archives, mostly because back then there really wasn't any CKN archives to speak of. That really didn't exist, as far as I know. Now, there is a hard drive of mine that has been out of service for a long time, probably since about 2015 or 2016. I don't believe that it's on there. I don't believe there'd be any reason for it to be on there, because that was the video that got immediately flagged after less than 12 hours. And that was also the third strike that I had on that channel. So I woke up the day after I posted that video to no channel. I had been banned. And, you know, they don't send you like an email or something that alerts you to that. You just wake up, go to type in your information, and it's all gone. It's flushed. All flushed. However, you know, after that had happened, that was very disheartening. Extremely disheartening, in fact, considering it was a video that was made to honor somebody who is very highly respected and revered within the heavy metal circle. But of course, you know, whenever it comes to policies and different things, that isn't something that they are going to instantaneously, you know, give you a pass for. And it's not going to change things. So it was a foolish thing. But yeah, it has happened. Now, ever since we changed over the Cover Killer Nation, it has not. Principally because the music that I use in the background of videos, and have for a very long time, ever since I started using music in the background, are all offerings from YouTube itself. So there are some of those where you have to place an annotation in your description box, or at least it's highly encouraged that you do, but most of the ones that I use do not require that. You know, most of that is not required. So that's not something that I have the threat of having happen these days because of that, you know, because of the fact that the stuff that I use is, you know, common use, free play, whatever it's called. Go by Dance with the Dead. I wish to... And there it is. There it is. Marvush, I thank you very much for that. I need to get that out of here. Hold on. You know, last time I realized it was easier for me to do this from the desktop. I tend to continue to forget that I am on a much more well-designed and powerful machine than I was running in the past, so I could actually utilize other things aside from just streaming and the like, and all would be good. Hey, you have a really, really good first name. You have a really, really good first name, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Dance with the Dead. And we're going to go with the song Go. Let's go. $4.20. Nice. Hey, that's the weed number. This song sounds familiar for some reason. Is it, I feel like this was used in like one of those videos where like they showed those kids dancing under the underpass. Or under the overpass, rather. Yeah, under the underpass. How the hell does that work? Thank you very much, sir. I will put your name, actually, in the... Oh my gosh, let's see if we can actually get there, first of all. Ouch. We got $5 from Scott again. Wants to hear Traveling Alone by Woods of Ypres. We're going to do that. But yeah, Marvush, Mark, Welcome, I am Mark as well. Now, since you have made a donation, and Scott, the same goes for you. Actually, Scott, with yours, you made that donation for lightning and snow. Whenever it was a different video that was being gone after. So Scott, you can actually offer me 2 ideas. Marvush, you can offer a video idea as well. How this works with donations that are under $100 is that everybody who does that and donates at least 5, $4.20, I'm going to let that slide. You know, I've let it slide before with like 2 or 3. I understand that times are tough. You are able to give me a video idea that you would love to see made. And then once we make it to $100, we put up a poll and we vote on it. Actually, chat votes on it. And that's how that goes. Whichever one gets the most votes is the video that will be made. I heard the band Skeletal Remains? I have, Alex. I'm about to put out their 4th album. That's cool. Well, we will have to take a look at that at some point. I'll have to take a look at that, should I say. I like using the word we a lot, I guess, whenever it comes to that. I think it's mostly because, you know, there's no team. I'm just one man, but I think of us as a community whenever it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, Scott, Marvush, whatever your brilliant idea is, toss it to me. What's your dream video? We'll put it on there and we'll see where we land. We'll see if it ends up a winning. As I now have cats playing soccer in my midst. Came across Apple by Mother Love Bone as a result of the top 10 grunge bands video. AJ, an incredible album, and I gotta tell you, the story behind all of that it's heartbreaking that Andy Wood is no longer with us. It's a shame that Andy only was able to give us the one album. I sometimes grow very curious as to what music or what Mother Love Bone would have become had that not happened. But, what are you going to do? It's unfortunately reality. It's been reality for going on 20 years. But he had an extremely, I like calling the voice very pastoral. It was very pastoral. He had the voice of a preacher that was delivering a sermon on life. A sermon that was very, very quickly sort of removed. What's more fun to scratch, poison ivy, athlete's foot, or mosquito bites? What? Y'all trying to ruin me here? That would certainly be an odd one. I'm surprised you're not using these for the eventual, or for the album reviews that probably have been sorely missed on the channel. And being those for Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum. Oh boy, you're going to be going into the hospital for an operation? Well, good luck to you, Mike. My mother's actually going in for an operation tomorrow as well to try to get a stone out of her. Well, it's a kidney stone, obviously. He's trying to pulverize it and get it out of there. Jason Richardson or Petrucci? It's Petrucci. Though I will say that Richardson is a great player in this generation, so that cannot be taken away from him. Greatest metal city in the world. I want to know where do they have that Wacken open air festival? I feel like that's got to be it. Because like that place has literally had every band in like history there. Greetings from Poland. Greetings from here, from PA. Salutations. I hope that you're having a good day and it's been a good week for you. Happy 1st of September. Ugh, I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that whatsoever. I love summer. Summer's when I thrive. I feel like this is like the old, this is the GDQ thing. Greetings from Germany. Long-time viewer, first-time donor. Put this towards saving the animals. You know, however that meme goes. Why are we dropping that $8? And I'm still using... Wow. I'm still relying on the phone for everything. Like a silly, silly boy. Like the silly boy that I is. Thank you very much, Mario. I appreciate that. RNG, if you please. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I haven't mentioned this for all of our new guests, but we actually do have an RNG game, and I will explain to you as follows. So for the next couple of minutes, I probably won't be very available for chat, considering I'll be doing this fun little game with Maru's $8, which, by the way, also, Maru, another video idea. And you know, Maru, I'm going to actually say this, and I'll make this known to everybody. If we do a poll and one of your ideas does not make it, and you make another donation on a future one, you can make the same suggestion once again. You can try again with it. You can try again if you like. Hi, Mark. It's been a decent day. What do you think of Sabaton? They're pretty good. Did I watch the VMAs? I did not. I did not have any plans to ever watch that. I just, no. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's kind of, it's a joke at this point. I did see a commercial for the VMAs the other day, like before it happened. Actually, it was the day of. Now that I think about it, it was the day of. And, oh boy. I think I recognized a grand total of 3 names that they were announcing for performances. Any progress on some of the videos? Whenever it comes to manufacturing a couple of the lists, there has been some progress with that. Whenever it comes to getting those put together, whenever it comes to shooting and the like, not much at the moment. It's been a busy last couple of days on the personal front, you know, the IRL. So I haven't had a lot of time to work on that as of yet. However, I am excited to announce that our first recording session for some of these may actually be as early as this weekend. Though I will say that album reviews, you know, traditional album reviews will probably be first, considering the amount of time that I spend on list videos is a little bit greater than I do with album reviews. There's a little more production that's involved with that. Your Hand Cannot Erase fully for the first time, incredible album. I love it. Subjectivity and objectivity in music. Oh, baby. That's a great, great, great topic. I am still an Ariana Grande fan, but I really don't listen to the stuff nearly as much as I was. And if I see a performance, it doesn't matter to me that much. It really doesn't. You know, if I missed that, I missed that, and it's not going to bug me much. It's not going to bug me at all, if I'm being honest. Not going to bug me one bit. I still love her voice, though. Yeah, Hand Cannot Erase is an amazing album. Absolutely incredible. So anyway, going back to the RNG. With Maru's donation, she asked for RNG, which I have a Last.fm. Last.fm is something that you can link up to your various music listening apparati on the computer. and track what you listen to. I've done that for a long time, and just recently, took 6.5 years off. Recently, got back into it. Yada yada yada. Most of you know the story. Well, I currently have 4,274 different artists that I've scrabbled over that point. So what the RNG project does, it aims to give you recommendations of things to listen to tonight. Not necessarily just new things. It can also be something that you've known for a while, or something that is, very familiar to you, but it's just a recommendation. Hey, you should go back and check this out. You haven't listened to that in a long time. You should try it. You should go back to it. Give it another shot if maybe it was something you didn't like the first time around. Now, of course, not all RNG, just like any good video game, not all RNG is good RNG, because among this, there are also plenty of artists that are a bit regrettable on my part, or don't have the heavy metal theme. After all, I did work at a music store and scrabbled some of the stuff there. After all, I did review 11 Now albums that are filled with some of the dregs of music society, aka popular pop music or popular hip-hop music that has been dumbed down stupidly due to editing. And you just might not always like what you get. But you don't know unless you test the RNG. We're going to test that RNG 8 times with Maru. We are going to test that RNG 8 times with Maru, 1 per dollar, as stated over there on the left-hand corner of the screen. So what I do is that I go over to a random number generator, which now starts at 1, which is the number 1 artist. If you get that, by the way, you're listening to Opeth. And goes all the way to 4,274. There's been some additions over the past weekend since we last streamed. So that is a number that steadily will always go up, which also makes it kind of neat. You might have gotten something that I listened to in 2005. You might get something I listen to every day. You might get something I just listened to yesterday. So let's generate our first number, which is 3,552. And then go over here to Last FM and type in 3552. I apologize that none of this is on screen. I'm working with 1 monitor, not 2. And 3552 In Spiral Carpets. In Spiral Carpets. I do not even remember listening to this. I don't know when this happened. I'm going to copy-paste how this is formatted for you, but they are an alternative rock band which formed in 1983. That is the thing I can tell you about it. I apparently listened to it sometime this year. Interesting. But we will go over here. Don't worry, Toad. We will be here on Saturday as far as I know. So we will see you then. So In Spiral Carpets is our first choice. See, you might even get something that I forgot that I listened to at some point. That can happen as well. I mean, are you really going to truly remember all 4,274 artists that you've listened to? You certainly aren't. It's an impossibility. I can remember a lot, but even my brain has limitations. Let's go with number 2. 1,250. 1,250. By the way, the grand total of number of plays that I gave to In Spiral Carpets was 1. The lower the number, the more the plays. 1,250 is Exciter. Exciter is a classic sort of speed / heavy metal band from Ottawa. And I do know this one here. I gave them their first plays earlier this year as part of the 1180. So these guys are old school. These guys are from, 1980s was their heyday, shaping up into the early 90s. Yeah, this was they were an 1180 band that I gave a couple albums I listened to earlier as part of the 1180. Total number of plays, 21. Number 3 is going to go to 4,162. It's going deep in the old numerological library, and it is going to produce, well, this might be one that you've listened to in the past, and it's just time to revisit. I think it's actually you who was responsible for this Scrabble. RNG number 3 goes to Tori Amos. So Tori Amos. Again, it might not necessarily be something new. It's something that you should merely go back to and maybe listen to tonight. Suggestions. That's number 3. We have 5 to go, ladies and gents. What do I think of the new Deep Purple album? It was really good, now that I finally got the opportunity to check it out. I understand why there was hype behind it after it was released. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Alright, let's go with number 4. Wow! Well, number 4 is going to go all the way to the 16th position. Now, here's something that's interesting about that. 1 through 17 have all gotten more than 1,000 plays. So number 16 for RNG, with a grand total of 1,019 plays as of this moment right now. Rest in peace, Warldane. It is nevermore. It is nevermore. Let's move right along. I'm going to spin this a couple times just to get us a little bit of fun and consistency. 523. We're going to stay high with this one with 523. Now, there are a couple artists I know that probably need cleaned up. Oh, you were really close to... You were really, really close to Weird Al Yankovic there, Maru. You almost got some weirdness, but instead, it offers you a death metal band that I don't believe is making albums any longer. Side project of one of the members, I believe, from Emperor. This is Zyklon. Pretty good stuff, actually. I liked it. If you like death metal with a little bit of tinged black in it in any way, this will be a record that you will enjoy. Petrucci versus Govan. See, I really like what Petrucci does. I really, really do. It's going to be really hard for me to bet against him, simply because so many of those solos and so many of the emotions that have been sort of given to me based off of Dream Theater material, those are moments in my life that I will remember for a long time. 13 or The Devil You Know. Devil You Know, actually. 13 hasn't aged well for me at all. Like, I loved that album whenever it came out, but since 2014 or 2015, I think I've listened to it a grand total of once. Wonder where Nazarene is today? She's probably in the studio manufacturing more music. Maybe she ran out of she ran out of stuff that she could post instantaneously, so she had to go and make some more. Which I hope so, because damn, everything she's given us so far has been terrific. 1145 is our next number. By the way, total number of plays for Zyklon, once I refind it, 69. Nice. 1145 is our next number. We have a few more of these left. This will be another one that will probably be a large unknown. This is a German thrash metal band from Velbert. This is another band that got plays principally because of the 1180. So, of course, the 1180 were albums that I wanted back in 2004 to either sample or by, based off of descriptions given by Century Media or other affiliates. So Living Death is a thrash metal band. Total number of plays, 24. So RNG number 6 is Living Death. Is it bad if, as a Dallas Mavericks fan, I want to give Luka Doncic a kiss on the lips and hold hands with him? That might get you in some shit in Texas, but outside of Texas, no. I know that, I know them Texas boys, they're kind of real weird about the hand holding. And the kiss on the lips, that kiss on the lip, sometimes you kiss somebody on the lips because you strike oil. Things like that. Yeah, that's a really good solo as well, Randall. You're absolutely right. I'm big with Happy Returns. Like that right there, just the whole entire emotion of that song is heartbreaking, especially considering this is based off a true story. Yeah, Maru, one of the big things from Zyklon, the song that I always remember is, I think it's Zyklon Aeon. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and play it. I'm going to go ahead and play the song. Because I with that band, with Zyklon, I owned Aeon back whenever it came out in 2003. I did have that disc. And so that to me is... In fact, I think I sold that as part of the CD sale 2 years ago, and I kind of regret it. You love my sense of humor. I'm sure things are changing. I'm sure there are communities down there that are embracing the, they embrace the old hold handing and the hand holding. But now, the kissing's got to be something else. Shit. You hit oil in your backyard when you ain't gonna kiss the first person you see, man or woman. Come on. That Texas tea. Anyway. My favorite guitarist solo-wise. Oh, man. I'd have to sit down and give that some actual thought. I really would. Because, Marty Friedman, whenever he was with Megadeth, was absolutely incredible. You can't say no to Petrucci. You cannot look away from Steve Vai or, Stevie Ray Vaughan does some great emotive blues work. Satchman is terrific. You have to look at Devin Townsend for utilizing great wall of sound capabilities, maybe not necessarily solo-wise. There are a lot of folks that are very good at different things. And that makes that a really tough choice. It makes it a really tough choice, if I'm being honest. You remember this now? Yeah. This was one of those albums that, even when I just had things on my computer down in college, I would think of this song in particular every so often. You know what I mean? It would just pop into my mind and I would have to listen to it. Hey, we have 2 more RNGs. So RNGs this next time gives us 1668. Like I said before, Living Death total number of Scrabbles was 24. 1668 is going to be much smaller. It's a band called Traverser. I do believe I remember listening to these guys earlier this year. A lot of stuff from this year. And as the description goes, Traverser opens the floodgates of creative, intense, and contemplative progressive/alternative rock on unsuspecting audiences at every performance. Y'all know they're just hyping that shit up. But I do remember listening to some of this stuff and enjoying it. My big deal is that I can't just I don't get hooked on things very often, where I play it 100, 200 times. In a week or something like that. Even with how much I loved Flowers of Evil by Oliver and Panther by Pain of Salvation, both of those have Scrabble counts under 100, those albums. Now, both of the bands have very large Scrabble counts. But whenever it comes to the albums, that's something that comes over time. My favorite glam metal band, the first 3 albums of Skid Row. The first 3 albums of Skid Row, without a doubt. Sebastian's voice on those early records, at one point I hoped to emanate, and then very, very quickly got bitch slapped back to reality. How do I feel about the new Pain of Salvation? I actually really, really like the album. I really like the album a lot. It's just, whenever I first heard the singles, I wasn't sure how to feel. It's one of those albums where the singles immediately got amplified by the music that was surrounding it. You know, the flow of the album and how that went was something that amplified every track that was on it. The title track is very divisive whenever it comes to fans. But what I offer to a lot of people is that if you listen to different parts of Pain of Salvation tracks from, say, Remedy Lane or The Perfect Element, the whole idea of Daniel, scat rapping or using, double, triple meter is not all that weird. The fact that it was done sort of within more of that realm is odd. Scarsick also had that. So it wasn't as divisive to me as it may have been to other people. I did see some folks that were pretty disappointed with it, and others that thought that it sort of went a little bit too far with the experimentation, which I kind of disagree with, because Scarsick, if you listen to Scarsick after hearing B and Perfect Element and Remedy Lane, Scarsick sounded like a completely different band until you listen to a song like Kingdom of Loss off of that record, which then resembled the band that had released those previous albums. And as a result of that, the final track off of Panther, Icon rather, sounds like it is The Perfect Element Part 3. Because Scarsick is seen spiritually as The Perfect Element Part 2. It's awesome. Hey, Nazarene. How you doing? Do I like the new Trivium album? I do. Yeah, I do actually really like it. I think it's pretty cool. Dream collaboration between prog artists. Oh, dude. I'll tell you what I want. I'm selfish as fuck. Not really. I'm not. I would love it, or I would have loved it if during the pandemic, every prog band just looked at themselves and said, you know what, we can make material for ourselves, but while we're at it, let's just dial up a bunch of other dudes and other chicks and like other band people and make like 67 more bands. Basically, let's do what Dream Theater did during the latter part of the 90s, only let's do it on a bigger scale and with more bands involved. Like, imagine members from Haken and Leprous teaming up with King Crow, teaming up with maybe a member from Between the Buried and Me, either that or maybe somebody from Tesseract. And then you have another project that's, members of Motorpsycho, Enchant, one of the former members of Beardfish, and then for no reason, Daniel Gildenlow from Pain of Salvation is there. Just for fun, just for kicks, just for shits. So, yeah, like, there would be not only a lot of ideas, but I almost wouldn't have, like, a dream collaboration because I would be more interested to see the different combinations and which of those would make the best music or the most unique music. It would almost be cool if you had like 20 bands available, or like 20 to 40 bands available. You sort of make them roulette dare themselves into all of these different projects, and then you just have this like weekend or week of listening to all of what is produced and made by these random assortments. And I bet you any money you would get some really unique things, despite the fact that they're all within the progressive universe. It's the same way with black metal. You would think that black metal would, side projects would sound very similar to the traditional sound, but everybody has different ideas. And, different things are going to gel with different people. That's why if you're ever in a group, if you're ever in a band, and you talk with another band, or you talk with some other people, don't be afraid to start that side project. Don't be afraid to start that side project, or don't be afraid that there's too many bands out there. There are too many bands out there, but you know what? That's not gonna slow down anytime soon. That's not gonna stop anytime soon. We're just gonna have more and more and more. And is that really a problem to have? Like, is that really a problem? I don't know. Is it? Is it really a problem to have too much music? Some would say, well, yes, because that means that we'll hear a lot of very similar sounding music. We'll be exposed to too much of the same thing, and it will no longer sound or feel special. Is that really all that it is? Or are things going to continue to sound special to us that are already special to us? Punk or skinhead rock and roll? More of a punk person, not a skinhead person whatsoever. What do I think of King 8110? Not a fan. Not a fan. Some of the stuff is pretty decent, but aside from one review that I did of them, I haven't touched them. I haven't touched them, really. Oh, God. 6 Feet Under blocked the comment section of the new video. I know there's a reason why I didn't watch that. Because I wasn't going to get a chance to say anything about it. Hey, we have one more RNG here for Maru. Hold on. We have to do that. What about another Ackerfeld Wilson collab? I would have loved to see a second Storm Corrosion album, which I guess it's something that they've always talked about, but it's one of those, it'll happen if the time is ever right. And, well, I mean, it's a pandemic, so time's pretty right, but, they got other shit to do. They got other things to take care of. They both have families. Well, I know Mike does. I know that Steven just recently got married. Hey, 916. 916 is going to be our last number for the RNG project for Maru. It's going to be our 8th and final recommendation for her. Let's see what it's going to be. Another name that's probably not on our tongues. Telepathy. This is a post-metal band. The album is entitled Burn Embrace. It was actually released earlier this year, so something that it does have a 2020 release. Check out the Cramps if you like Elvis. Be surprised with the other things that you get. As in very interesting. That is a very, very interesting thing. Doors or the Beatles? Oh, gosh. I'm sitting here acting like it's that hard. For me, personally, it's the Doors. It's the Doors. It is the Doors. If I was to collab with one other band, what collab would it be? He should collab with his doctors to make sure that, he stays healthy and okay at this point. But if it were something that could have happened throughout history, I feel like it would have to be a big band. And not necessarily a doom group. Like, it's not like you put Ozzy in there with High on Fire. Cathedral's actually not a bad selection, if I'm being honest. It seems like it would fit pretty well. What would be really interesting? It would be interesting to hear Ozzy Osbourne alongside Messiah from Candlemass. But not right now, obviously. Not in 2020. If this collab would have happened in, say, like, 1989. Like, right at the height of Candlemass's first run. That'd be something. Either that or... it wouldn't work as well with the lead singer of Solitude at Tyrannus. But with some of their compositions, that may have been interesting. That may have been really, really interesting. Hello, glasses man. Hello, Avatar name man. How are you on this designated day we are currently residing upon? What's up, Brad? Blep. 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 Blep, blep. Shit. Here's The Lifeless Advance by Ulcerate. You like the Stones that much? Yeah, the Stones are one of the... They're a really weird band for me. You see, back whenever I worked at the music store, and I know I tell these stories a lot, but that's 5.5 years, 5.5 really good years of my life, dude. But back whenever I worked there, they're a group that I wouldn't listen to very much at home. I would not listen to them a lot in my spare time, but if they were playing, that was a CD that we had in at the store, I knew it was probably going to be a good day. I knew it was probably going to be a good day. Again, I would say one of the projects that I hope for a new album from the most, that will probably not happen, is Kaladin Brood. Kaladin Brood's first album was absolutely legendary. It got me into an entire book series. So I'm pretty sure Steven Erikson owes Kaladin Brood royalties. That's pretty much just how I feel about that. I definitely feel that Steve Erikson should call up Kaladin Brood and thank them personally. I easily got that. They easily got that man like, I don't know, like $50 worth of book sales. Something like that. Favorite version of Deep Purple? The first iteration is still my favorite. Although I will say their modern lineup has been producing some really good stuff. Like if you take a look at albums such as Now What and the like, it's surprising just how competent these albums are. Like, these are not albums that you say, oh, that's pretty good, Basically, the nice way of saying, wow, these old guys still can write pretty, decently or okay. No, they actually have great writing. The writing on this stuff is actually really good. Especially whenever you consider Deep Purple's vast history. Now, you take that and you compare it to, say, an older group like Asia, who's actually younger than Deep Purple in many ways, where they are able to write a couple of decent songs on newer releases, but the whole album doesn't exactly gel in the same capacity or the same way as, say, a Deep Purple. So even just within that classic rock or vintage rock category, Deep Purple is producing more meaningful material in this, advanced age, than some of their younger relatives. You have to remember, age is about less than a decade, about less than a decade younger than. Deep Purple was also a huge influence for a lot of groups. So, don't sleep on Deep Purple these days. And don't consider them to be just the smoke on the water. They're not just smoke on the water. I remember back in the day, that's what everybody wanted to play on guitar. It's like the first song that you learn on guitar. Am I going to get into the 40th anniversary Iron Maiden final? Probably not. Probably not. I'm one of those old school, pinky up putzes, where what I find to be more valuable for my collection are like originals, or if it can't be like an original first pressing, I like going on the hunt. I don't buy into a lot of the remastered gimmicks and things like that. I think that they're very important for new fans. It's a great way to get them access to all of the albums. And of course, I'm talking like it's it's going to be in a store. That's not online. You know what I mean? Like the last time that Maiden did their remasters. The last time Maiden did remasters, they had each and every single one of those in that music store. The same thing was true with a lot of other groups. They did The one time that they never did that, or the one time that that didn't happen with every single album, was with Pantera. Whenever Pantera was getting a lot of different either remastered editions or anniversary editions and the like, they would the store would order a lot of the albums, and the albums actually would get another run or whatever. That way fans could buy all of them along with the anniversary edition of whatever it would be, Forward Display of Power, Great Southern Treadmill, whatever. But they never released those first four. And those first four albums have never gotten that release. Okay, Mario, you have yourself a good one. The next stream will be on Thursday. Top 5 vocalists in rock and metal history. Hell yeah. Sounds good, Scott. That sounds good, my friend. But, what just happened? Oh, it got me a little too much. Yeah, the boys in Pantera want nothing to do with those albums. Bill Ward versus Bonzo versus Ian. I actually don't have a selection among those three. I don't have a dog in that fight. That's just honesty. I don't have a dog in that fight. But, I don't know, what do you guys feel about remasters? Do you think they're a good thing that we need? Is it something that, if you're a collector, you should be seeking to gain every edition of an album possible? Or is it something that is mostly good for new fans that are looking to get albums that maybe would not be available otherwise? Because I have some sort of conflicting feelings about the whole thing. Oh, we're going to go all the way back. Furrows of Gods by Drudka. Hell yes. Good for new fans? I agree. I'm definitely big with that. Forbidden a Good Sabbath album? Not my first choice. Are there any more impressive metal vocalists than Devin Townsend? Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of great vocalists that exist out there. Kind of just depends on what you want. Depends sort of what you're looking for, like Andy Nuts, for example, from Van den Plas is just incredible. Hey, you have a good one there, Jamie. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. In fact, you know what? As right after we listen to Furrows here, Furrows of Gods, well, let me check and see if it's available first of all. I will play for you a track from Van den Plas that will probably blow you away whenever it comes to the vocal department with range. As if it's available. If it's not, then I'm kind of out of luck. I think I'm going to be out of luck. Am I going to be out of luck? Yeah, I'm out of luck. Damn! Whenever you have the opportunity, look up, I'm going to type it in chat for you. Unless you know it already. Look up Gethsemane by Van den Plas. Absolutely fantastic song. Gethsemane is an Andrew Lloyd Webber song, which was for Jesus Christ Superstar. And Andy has actually done some like European Broadway stuff, and his rendition of that song with Van den Plas is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. I'm a very, very big fan. Do I like Porcupine Tree? A little bit. Just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny little bit. I'm trying to undersell the 2,613 total plays of Porcupine Tree on Last FM. They are number 2 behind Opeth. Top 5 on Last FM is as follows. With 3,270 Scrabbles, we have Opeth, that's number 1. 2613, that's Porcupine Tree, number 2. 2530, that's Alice in Chains, number 3. 1902, it's Iron Maiden, number 4. And number 5, we have Catatonia with 1,588 plays. Megadeth is number 6, 1495. Model of the Well, 1464 at number 7. Number 8, Dream Theater, 1431. Number 9, Overkill, also with, nope, I'm just kidding, it's 1331. I thought they were tied there for a second. Can't read. Number 10 is Tool, 1300 even. Tool would probably be a lot higher if they were not a really spurty band for me. Like, whenever I listen to Tool, I get obsessed with them for a couple of weeks, or like maybe a month or so, and then I don't listen to them for like 4 years. It's weird. You know what I mean? It's just one of those weird things. Do I like Catatonia better than Dream Theater? The Scrabble count is not necessarily a representation of how much I like a band. It's just how many times they've been played. You know, Dream Theater doesn't have nearly as many songs per album, for one. I've listened to Catatonia a little bit more lately. Dream Theater I listened to a lot more whenever I first got into them, which was before I even had a Last FM. So if the Last FM were, if I had information from, say, like 2000 or like 1999 to 2005, oh man, I'm not even sure what that chart would look like. Like, it'd be really, really cool if you just, if that was something that was started whenever I was but a wee small tot. You know, whenever Mark got his first CD back in like the 5th grade. I'm sure there'd be some wild stuff that would be located on that list, things that you would not expect. Because little teeny tiny coverkillernation wasn't always a metal guy. Yeah, it is kind of, it is. Their material frequency is, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a cause, but it is certainly an effect. You know, an effect of them not putting out a lot of new material. You can only revisit things for so long before you just get sick and tired of them. You know, you just sort of play them to death. You know, like Model of the Well, for example, I'd probably put maybe in my top 3. That would be exhausting some pretty big names, though. Like, it's really hard to make that kind of a list. But the reason why they don't have, you know, like 3,000 plays for as much as I've hyped them and everything like that is that they have a grand total of like 30 songs in their discography, period. You know, they have 4 albums, and they do have, you know, a couple of bonus tracks and a secret song and stuff like that, but it's one of those things where if an artist doesn't have a lot of material to really work with, then numbers can only go so high. You know, numbers can only go so high. It's more, you know, it's more impressive that a band like Tool, with having the sort of sparse amount of material that they do, for being active for 30 years, that they have gotten such a huge following. You know, it's interesting how many of us are willing to be very patient. You know, we're willing to be very patient for new albums in the rock and heavy metal community. You know, it's something that we've grown very accustomed to with a lot of different groups. You know, there have been some situations where that wait has been then given zero meaning by the output that we got. But I feel like in the pop department, In the pop department, you cannot afford to go 7 or 8 years without a record. Like, you just cannot afford to do that. It is just not something that you can do. If you do that, then you are probably going to just be a friendly act from the past or whatever. It's no longer going to be your time. The comeback album is seen as a big thing or a big deal, but you don't get many opportunities in order to sort of capture that. And that's where, and then all the comments from the gent from Spotify don't exactly aid in making the whole entire business seem. Basically, he's making it sound like you have to sacrifice your own mental health or your own abilities and sell away your soul or give your soul to producing albums all the time, because if you don't, then you're just done. You're done in this universe. You're done in this land of 2020 and the stupidity that surrounds it. I don't know. Then you have some bands that here in 2020 have released supposedly their final album, which, including Falconer. There's Falconer with Redeem and Repent off of their final album, From a Dying Ember. If I was starting a new band and I could either choose between Mike Patton or Maynard James Keenan as your vocalist, who do I choose? Mike Patton is the harder worker. He's the harder worker. Because here's the thing. He may go off and make 17 different side projects and want to do stuff with them, and I might be left high and dry. But whenever he comes back, we will still make music together, and I might be a part of that side project. I might be a part of that side project. You never know. Yeah, I feel like the stuff with Maynard, it's Tool doesn't feel like a collective. It doesn't really feel like a collective band at times. Sometimes it just feels like a Maynard James Keenan project. Despite the delays and everything, do show that the band communicating and making things as a whole is extremely important. But it's not always how it feels. But, no, I would really like the diversity that Mike Patton could bring. I feel that we could make some really unique stuff. If you remember the cover they did of Easy, imagine how many cool things you could do with that kind of range and that kind of ridiculousness. Imagine how often throughout an album you could hit them with something so different, but also good at the same time. I just think that idea is super cool. I love the potential. The Tool song is my favorite, right in two. As well as Wings from Marie Parts. Well, actually, just all of Wings from Marie. Or Wings from Marie. I also really like. I like a lot of the Lateralis as well. Especially the second half of that disc. The second half of that disc is pretty awesome. There were times whenever I was a younger man, no Corny, do not jump up there, where I listened to the last 4 or maybe even 5 tracks off of Lateralis just on repeat. That was almost like its own album for me. What about you, Corny? What are your favorite Tool songs? What are your favorite Tool songs, Cornell? Interesting. Interesting choices. 46 and 2. 46 and 2. Not a bad choice. See you, Gang Club. Choose with me. Don't you sweep me into your eye, you dork. You Dorcas. I want to poke out your eye, boy. Poke out your eye, boy. Here's my question for you all. What's your favorite Pussifer album? What's your favorite Pussifer album? There's the shits right there. Corny, Mr. Corny. This is just a real chill stream tonight. Wait, what? Somebody on my friends list is listening to Christmas music. I feel as though I should disown her. But I will not. I will be kind. I will be kind. I was sure thinking about it. It's a shame that Mario left. I actually just got the telepathy here on the 2020 releases playlist. I could have played her some. I could have done it. Damn it. Dag nabbit, Bobby. How the hell did I get fire ants? Oh, excuse me. Gee darn it. Consarn it. Conslab it. Fab fluid. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Cornell keeps on thinking about jumping up here. Jumping onto the desk. That is not a place for cornies. Here's Your Hell by Necrot. Never heard of the group. What? Never listened to a full Pussifer album. Oh boy. Oh well. Sounds like a lot of you guys have some listening to do. So, let's take a look on here. Let's take a look on the old Spotify. Spooter poop. Hey, Pussifer is on there. Would you look at that? Is the album on there? Why yes, there's Conditions of My Parole. Amazing album. That would be my recommendation. Go to either Spotify or your music player of choice. Conditions for My Parole by Pussifer. I know you'll actually go and check that one out. Though you should really you should check out everything. I think. Listen to it all. I am hypnotizing you right now. You're getting very sleepy. You are getting very sleepy. And it's mostly because you didn't sleep well last night. And I'm sorry for that. I didn't do it. I promise you I didn't do it. I don't know how to. I'm not that smart. Ugh. More a fan of A Perfect Circle. Perfect Circle's pretty decent. Eat the Elephant was really disappointing for me. That's just for me personally, you know. I thought I was going to like that album a lot more than I did. But, what are you going to do? You all can't be perfect. Come on, Corny. Keep looking up at me like you want to be. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. You're mine now. You're mine now. You know what you should do? Hey. Camera. Why are you so shy? Why are you so shy? Huh? Why are you so shy? Huh? You're not shy in person, I'll tell you that. Shy in front of a camera, though. Shy in front of a camera, though. The album cover and the album title. Yeah, those are some interesting ideas, to say the least. I don't know whether or not you can call that artsy-fartsy or what. That's one of those things where you want to kind of just look and find out who's to blame, and then like go up to them and say, why? Why for Por favor, why have you done this? And then it was like, please, why have you done this? But shut up. I have good intentions with my favorite Dark Tranquillity album. Man, really like The Mind's Eye. Whenever I first got into the band, I was a big fan of Haven, and even parts of Damage Done. Projector is excellent. I liked Projector, I think, because it was different. Like, compared to what you heard with some of their other initial offerings, Projector was a very different album. But The Mind's Eye is very good. My very first online handle for gaming and stuff was actually Skydancer. It was in fact also the name of my first Last FM account. And Skydancer is based off of the album or EP. It's the album by Dark Tranquillity, the first album. Which really, whenever you listen to it, it's just okay. You know, it's not the best. You know, they still had a lot of work to do, but you know, it's always really cool to kind of go back and listen to that stuff and find out, sort of trace where some of these bands, you know, where they came from and how they've evolved throughout the years. But weird pick for one of my favorite songs from Dark Tranquillity is this one. Let's see if you can name the song. Let's see if you can name the song. Somebody can. Good on you. What, at this point in my life, how many points out of 30 would Saint Anger get? Probably like 10. Probably like a 10 out of 30. Yeah, it'd probably be like a 10 out of 30, I would say. I think that's fair. Lulu would probably get probably a 12. Lulu would probably do a little better than Saint Anger these days. Kill to be Killed. Kill or Be Killed finally has a second album coming out. Hello, Meatman. How good is it, sir? We're probably going to be checking out a little early today, Meatman, just to let you know. I apologize since you just got here. I've been, I'm going to go at it since 9 this morning. Not streaming, obviously, other shit. I'm pretty beat. I figure we'll relax for a little bit, about 2 hours. We're about an hour and a half in. Surprised nobody has mentioned Meshuggah yet. Destroy Erase Improve is fantastic. Chaos Sphere is a good disc. You know, they're pretty good, you know. Inspired a sound that became a subgenre for some reason. You know? And everyone's like, why? Nah, Gent's good music. The only problem with Gent is that you have to have that sound in your music. You have to have that sound in your music in order to be a Gent band. The answer to that question is yes, because if not, then you're not a Gent band. You're like a progressive metalcore band or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? The Blood of the Dance Floor is the only band that would get a 1. I don't even know if I would do that. The only way I will ever talk about that band is negatively. And it's a way to spread awareness that Davey Vanity is a terrific, amazing douchebag that belongs in prison. He deserves to be statutory raped by a large gentleman named Bubba, while being sodomized in his throat by an equally large gentleman, potentially named Terry. or I don't know, maybe he'll have like the, his name will be Dick, but everyone just calls him Rooster. Boy, it's getting super good right now. Hold on. A large man named Tiny. What do you think about that, Corny? What do you think about a large man named Tiny? Corny Cam. I know what this even looks like right now. Oh, no, get off the cord. Get off the cord. The cord is not for corny. The cord is not for corny. The cord is not for corny. Okay, let's get this back up here. Boop. Just listen to Model and Well and you can't believe you missed the band? Prepare yourself for a lifelong love. That's all I can say. Prepare yourself for a lifelong love. That's the one thing about that band. They're not a group that you just sort of like listen to once and think to yourself, that was awesome, but maybe I'll do that again in 7 years. And with some of it, you just want to go back and examine it almost instantaneously after it happens. It's crazy. Brian Johnson was a worthy replacement vocally. The problem, though, was that Back in Black, whenever you have an album that gets to be that commercially successful, the demand becomes to replicate that album. You know, like if you have an album, you know, let's say you're a record label executive. Let's say you're a record label executive, and the band that you are representing, they release an album the caliber of, say, Back in Black whenever it comes to sales and all of that. Here, by the way, is Bizarre Flowers, A Violet Mist by Model and Well. But let's say that you have a group that does that. You know, they release an album that sells millions of records, is seen as a massive, you know, crossover hit. It's something that becomes not only part of rock or metal history, but also becomes part of just culture. You know, what kind of goals are you setting for that band? You know, you don't tell them to go out and make their freaking, you know, psychedelic masterpiece. And especially in the 1980s, the drive was for more, you know, more of the same. So basically, what do you tell them? Go back in and make Back in Black again. And bands, again, are very pressured into doing those things whenever they taste success. Whenever you get something, you know, whenever you get something that works. And heck, this happens with YouTubers too. You know, this could go down to YouTubers, content creators. You know, hell, it might be the dude that is gambling on a slot machine in a bowling alley. You know, notices that it seems like during the hours of 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. the machine likes to, you know, pay out a lot more, but you have to play 7 and then walk away, and then play 5 and then walk away. You know what I'm saying? Whenever human beings find something that works for them or gets them the things that they want or brings them success, they're going to aim to replicate that. They want to do that. You know, and especially whenever you consider all of the negative talk about the music industry and how executives worked and how record labels expected different things from bands. You know, AC/DC could have wanted to go in there and done something completely different with their sound, and it could have gotten nixed. Friend found Beardfish's 4626 Comfort Zone and fell in love with the album. He then found out they broke up a year after it, and he felt crushed. Well, on the plus side, they have a lot of great material to scope out. They have a lot of terrific material prior to that album to examine. One of my favorites being Mammoth, because of the Mammoth song, and the Stones said, "If I could speak," which is just terrific. It's still one of my, if not my favorite band, or song from the band. But yeah, I remember talking about Comfort Zone, and then seeing the announcement a year later that they had broken up, and it was unfortunate because it felt like the band was starting to get some of the attention that they were desperately in need of years prior. Like, there are a lot of prog bands out there that have fans. You know, there are people that know these names that you wouldn't expect, and you know, whenever I look at prog magazine compilations that you would get with the issues and things like that, some of those names seem just so out there. And then you realize that people know them. But you want them to be known in more circles than just the prog circles. You know, you want their name to become more synonymous with heavy metal fans, or more synonymous with rock fans, or both. You know, it's a name that just, you have a better opportunity of hearing that name whenever you talk to somebody. And I felt that Beardfish was getting to that point where they were very, very close to becoming a band of that distinction, and then unfortunately had to break up. You know, that was just no good. Kind of stunk that happened, but you know, what can you do? What can you do? So who here remembers Chinese Democracy by Guns N' Roses? That pile of shit. That is a great example of an album that you wait more than a decade for, and you hear what you get, and you're like, this is a joke, right? This is a joke, right? I remember whenever I worked at the music store, there was we had a drawing. It was around Christmas time, and we had a bunch of CDs that were in the back, and you know, these were copies that we couldn't put out for sale because they either were marked for, you know, store use or blah blah blah. But you can't just keep them all in the store; you have to give them to somebody eventually. So we just gave them out to some of the workers, but we put them all in a big hat. You know what I mean? Like a big bag or satchel or whatever. I remember seeing that put in there, and I thought to myself, man, I hope the hell I don't get that. And I got it. And I was like, can I try again? I remember I listened to that album the day it came out. Mainly because they built it up like an event. You know, if you were a music fan, you knew that Guns N' Roses was going to be releasing a brand new album. It's the first time it happened in 12 years, and blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, okay, impress me, wow me. What can you offer me, sir? And then that's what we got. And I remember the first time I listened to it, I thought, you know what, this is one of those albums. It was kind of like Virtual 11 by Iron Maiden. Only it was like a little less than half of the songs I felt were okay. If I remember correctly, it's a 13-song album, and I thought like 6 of the 13 songs were good. You something like that. But, I listened to it again shortly after that night when I got that from the store for free, for nothing. And I realized that, man, I was a lot nicer in 2007 or whatever year that was. I was a lot nicer back then. There was like maybe 3 songs that second time that I thought were okay. I got to the point where I'm thinking, you know what? This isn't even worth throwing. I ended up selling it. I sold it as part of the CD sale. Originally, I thought about using it as a coaster, but I didn't want to insult the drink that would potentially be atop of it. I thought about that. I was like, no. Because if I were a can of Monster sitting on top of Chinese Democracy by Guns N' Roses, I would all of a sudden decide to taste like shit. I would make a conscious decision because, in this example, I am, anthropomorphic. And have control over what I'm doing. And amazing. But then there's also a part of me that wants to, wants them to go back into the studio and give it the old college try now. Have another new Guns N' Roses album. See if they, can do a little better this time. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me being a bit of a masochist. A little bit of masochism there. Could be. How big was Black Ice? Black Ice did pretty well. It did pretty well. I actually like Black Ice. I owned a copy of it. I had a copy of that album. And I remember, I think I gave that to... If I remember correctly, I gave that to my my ex-landlord. I gave it to his daughter. Because she was really, really into classic rock. And I forget what he had for me. It was a trade of some variety. I forget what he had for me, but I asked what kind of music that they were into, and he told me that she really liked AC/DC, and I knew I had the album, so I was like, here you go, give S to her. Rock or Bust didn't do the band justice. Wasn't really meant to. At this point, I don't see... There's really no reason for AC/DC to do anything more. AC/DC to me feels like a band that has said their piece. And that's all that was needed. And I think their piece has already been said. There's not much more that needs to be stated. That's just between you and me. Oh man, I'm starting to get a little sleepy. It's been a big day. It's been a big, big day. I don't think we're going to take a break today. I think whenever we get to the break time, it's just going to be the end. That's coming fast. How much more can be said about balls? Basketballs, baseballs, golf balls, tennis balls, Squidward tennis balls, balls of yarn, jars of clay, balls of jars of clay, ball breaker, balls of chaos. Hey, what's going on, Glabber? How you doing, man? I apologize that you're joining right as we're probably very close to exiting stage right. Oh. I guess we can call this the unofficial start to fall. Remember Balls of Fury? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey Anthony. I'm doing okay. I'm a little bit on the exhausted side currently. But aside from that, overall, I've been doing great. You just discovered Dawkin Glabber? Nice. Into the fire. Into the fire. But I guess you could also consider this the kind of the logical halfway point to Videomania. So I think it's okay that we can sort of have this just be a short little stream, a small little day by comparison. So the schedule for today, or excuse me, the schedule for this week still is maintained the same way as it was. Thursday will be our next stream. That one will probably start a little bit earlier than today's did, and will no doubt run a lot longer. I'm just out of energy right now, so I'm going to actually go and give myself a night. Maybe work a little bit on some of those videos that we've already got created. Who I think wins Game 7 tonight, Nuggets or Jazz? I'm honestly surprised that became a Game 7-able thing. I'm going to go with Utah. I'm going to go with Utah. I've always wanted to see Utah win. I've always wanted to see Utah, make it to the finals and actually win. I don't think it's going to happen because it's pretty stacked out there in the West. The Clippers are in, the Lakers are in, the Jazz will hopefully be in. Who would be the fourth? Wow. Are we still just first round? Are we still just first round with that stuff? Oh my gosh. I thought we were deeper. I thought we were much deeper than that. Oh my gosh. Who else would be in there? Who else is in there with them? Hey, no problem, Anthony. Modeling's awesome. We actually just listened to some modeling here in stream. We just listened to Bizarre Flowers, A Violet Mist off of Leaving Your Body Map. See, I can't even think right now. Man, who the heck? Wow, I am lost right now whenever it comes to that. I have been following it like tremendously close over the past couple of days. I've had other things to do. And then the East is what? Celtics, the Bucks. Wow. I think I need to prepare for the next stream whenever it comes to this sports stuff that I typically would know. But right now, I don't know anything. The brain be mush. The brain be mush. But I do hope that Utah does win that. I hope they pull that off. I'm also kind of hoping Colorado comes back and takes out Dallas in the NHL. But if Dallas wins, it's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it would be kind of neat to see, because I had Colorado. I'm glad I don't do sports betting, as I would have had Colorado in 6, and now if it was going to happen, it would have to be Colorado in 7. Thunder and the Rockets. That's right. That thing's going on, and that's a game. That's a Game 7. As much as I like. Damn it. As much as I feel bad for the Thunder, considering they had just an incredible team a number of years back and couldn't pull it off, I have to go with Harden and the Rockets. The one thing I do seem to be noticing about these playoffs, and really about like the last couple games of the season too, the huge point totals. Huge individual point totals. Like, we've had folks drop 50 in the playoffs like it's nothing and then do it again. Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Thoughts on Yngwie Malmsteen? Terrific guitar player. Kind of a dick. as a person. Kind of a dick. Really fits the stereotype of that some geniuses aren't exactly the most like forthcoming individuals. Everyone says that. That's the truth. Whenever the reputation is that bad, maybe he needs to look at himself. No. He's kind of a dick, but he doesn't need to change. He doesn't need to change. His name is going to be etched, and has already been etched, in the rock and metal history, so. What does he need? White Zombie versus Rob Zombie solo era? White Zombie, man. I'm going to tell you this right now. Rob Zombie solo stuff, it might be super catchy. You know, it might be easy to listen to, you know, easy to digest. You know, a lot of strippers might want to strip to it. White Zombie stuff is just more interesting. Just more interesting. A little bit wider variety. Alright, I'm looking at my phone because I cannot even think of the last pair of teams that are over there in the East. Like, that to me is bugging me. It's bugging me a lot. Hey, Brian Hayes finally got promoted. Time for him to do absolutely nothing to reverse the Pirates' fortunes. But, you know, Ghost thought about doing a Beatles covers album. They do good covers. They do good covers. Yeah, it's... Oh, of course. How did I forget the Raptors? And the Heat. The Heat and the Bucks, and then the Celtics and the Raptors. Yeah, how surprising have the Heat been this year? You know? How surprising have the Heat been this year? Imagine they win a title without, you know, a guy named Wade or Shaq or LeBron. Imagine that. That'd be something. That'd be something for the city of Miami. Do they have what it takes to beat the Bucks? I don't know. But the Bucks never do. The past couple of years, the Bucks always seem to not be able to match up in the playoffs with what they're able to do in the season. So they're going to have to prove themselves if they want to make it past. And, you know, Boston could potentially, they could be the team. Imagine if it ended up being Boston and LA. Yawn. Yawn. Oh, wait. Did I say Lakers? I didn't. Clippers. Clippers, baby. At this point, I kind of wanted it to be the Clippers because they took out the Mavs. They broke the hearts of Mr. Doncic. He just beat the Bucks last night. Yeah, it's game one. It's game uno. Game uno. It's a long series. It's a long series. You know, I don't know. I still have really weird feelings about both the NBA and the NHL playoffs for this year. Like, they feel very much like placeholder things that were done just to give us a little bit of finality to the 2019-2020 campaign. You know, like it was a necessary thing to do. It's so weird. Like, I shouldn't have that feeling about it whatsoever. It's not like there's that many people that really held out, but there were some. You know, there's something about it just feels a little bit different. Like, maybe it's, you know, it's something that's being done just sort of with what is there. You know, it's very bare bones almost, even though most stars are present. Like, it's such... I don't know if I can really explain it very thoroughly or very well, but it feels It's easily the most unique playoffs that I've ever seen or ever been a part of. And I guess for the NHL, I'm just happy that they are there, considering, I lived through the hockey lockout back in the 2000s. That was while I was in college, and my buddy and I, one of my roommates, we were both huge hockey fans. So whenever we found out the season was locked out, we were crushed. We were just crushed. Absolutely crushed, man. Well, I'm sure the victims, their families feel that this whole thing's a scam. The whole big thing is the revision of CDC death counts. Well, here's the thing. I don't give a shit if somebody died from pneumonia. I'm sure contracting COVID didn't exactly help that. It's not like contracting COVID all of a sudden just meant, oh, well, my pandemic is better. Or my pneumonia is better, but now my COVID sucks. Not like there's little bars in there. Here's the thing. One way or the other, the person's dead. And that sucks dick. It's not cool. But anyway. But yeah, it's just a really weird overall feeling toward these playoffs. But I am still really excited to see what happens. That's the thing. That's the part about being a sports fan that's almost like it's an addiction, but at the same time it's also just what makes it unique. It's a unique addiction to have, is that you're just endlessly curious. It's the weirdest style of soap opera. It's the weirdest style of soap opera. 2020 is a fake year. It's a computer virus. Christ. Yeah, this is the real Y2K. It's Y2K2K. We were 2 digits off, clearly. Well, my brain is absolute poo. I'm also exceptionally hungry. And I think I need a nap. I'm old, officially. This proves it. Wake up at the ass crack of dawn, or in this case, you take that 6 a.m. and you flip it around and it becomes 9 a.m. You get all your work done by like 2 p.m. And then by the time 5 o'clock comes and it's supposed to be dinner time, you just want to take a nap. So, I'm a bigger Lynch guy. I like Georgie. So I think it's time for my ass to go and get some shut-eye. Oh, it also didn't help that I only got 3 hours of sleep last night, so whoops. Cheers. We're supposed to be living on Mars already. This is Mars. So have a Milky Way. And I'll sit over here and have a Snickers. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for stopping out, everyone. Next stream's going to be Thursday. Thursday around 3 o'clock. We're going to go much longer than today, clearly. And the stream after that will be Saturday, about halfway through Viewer Videomania. And we are right now sitting at 21 videos funded. I think a good goal for us is between 30 and 35. But I'm going to stretch goal all you and say, hey, I'm going to challenge y'all. If you guys make it to 40, videos funded, I'm going to have to find some pretty cool stuff to do for you as a thank you. But y'all have a good one. I'll see you guys later. Take care.